Welcome to Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi, and welcome our guests from Seneca Valley High School, the head boys soccer coach, WPIL and state champions. Welcome, George Williams. Coach, congratulations on a great year, 22-1-1. And your championship, state championship, a 6-0 blowout over Lower Merion. That's almost unheard of in soccer.
We really thought, again, obviously wanted to go in prepared for anything to happen, and thought, we were ready for a battle. Obviously, the team we were going to play, Lower Merion, was a highly ranked team, one of the best teams from the East. And, we went in and were completely ready for just a huge battle. It started out that way, too. The first 10 minutes, we were back against it. And, but then the first time we got a chance to goal, it went in and it just started clicking and just hit on all cylinders from there. Started a few minutes before that with that huge penalty kick save by Ryan Krumanacher. I mean, 2 minutes into the game, they get a penalty kick called on us, and those are almost an automatic goal. And you think, great, now we're going to start the whole way behind. But then he makes that unbelievable save, and it just did this to the whole.
And your goalie throws the shutout, but just like in hockey, a lot of the help comes up front defensively. So it's a great team effort to shut someone out like Lower Merion.
Oh yeah, like I said, they were ranked number 1 in the East all year long. That team in Conestoga, who we saw right before then, were the 2 best teams out of that area. And I don't have it. So frankly, I'm still not sure how we were able to do that against them. But just after watching and rewatching the game, we just to a player, and even the subs we had coming on the field, every one of those guys played their best game that night, and we not only played their best game individually, but played best together. They really, if one guy did something and he made a mistake, the next guy were both there.
Now you jump out to a 2-0 lead. Your junior Cole Kamaric scores 2 goals. You're up 2-0. Almost impossible in soccer, from what I know, to overcome a 2-0 deficit. So, how'd you coach from that point? What was your concern?
At that point, yeah, 2-0 lead is a great lead to have, but sometimes you get comfortable. Sometimes that could be a really dangerous lead to have, because you emotionally, psychologically, you can get a little comfortable with that, and then leaving the other team a little bit more room. So, you just encourage your team to keep going, to keep the gas on the pedal, so to speak. It's and wow, our guys did that. They just did not stop. They were relentless in keeping the pressure on, winning the tackles, making the good passes, getting the position to where they needed to be. And again, one of the biggest things on the Lower Merion team that we saw through the years, like, they didn't get many goals scored on them. They didn't even have a whole lot of teams get dangerous on them. So we knew that if we could get into the final third of the field and get some shots on them, we knew we had a chance.
Well, 3 WPL championships now for you, 2 state championships for you. What are you most proud of?
Oh my. I think just all of it, just being able to be there, being able to do that well within the biggest classification on the biggest stage, to be able to perform that well is with all the groups that we've had have been just my favorite part of it. Again, when I started out, this was my 28th year, excuse me. And again, when I started out, being able to do something like this wasn't even on the radar. I loved coaching. We always had great people there. Seneca Valley is a great place, has been a great place for me to be able to coach and teach. Just so many great people I couldn't even mention. But just to be able to take from there and then be able to do this with these great kids and have these great experiences, that's I guess my favorite part.
Well, every successful program is built from the ground up. So I imagine you have a great feeder program. Were you instrumental in getting that started?
Actually, there was a great feeder program even when I came in. You had a lot of coaches, great coaches, and great people in the area that are already in place. These kids, they play together a lot, from when they're young. They've got their parents that are really involved. They do a great job of keeping these kids playing. There are a lot of great coaches in the area who do a great job of, getting them ready from young age to mid to the little bit older ages. They're very well coached, so they come in really, really well prepared, and we just try to keep that going.
And you're in a tough section. There's so many good teams.
Oh my
Butler
gosh,
and
yes.
NA.
Butler, NA, Fox Chapel, Pine Richland. I mean, it just, to get out of there, it was a feat. So we were happy, and we did so well at the end. But getting there, I said we've had a great year. We stayed just ahead of it, and it wasn't perfect, but we knew we had a group that could do it, and thankfully we got the chance to do that.
Coach, I mentioned Cole got those first 2 goals in the game for you. He's a junior. He'll be back. So take some time and tell us about some of the other players that contributed to your success this year as WPL and state champs.
Thank you. The first one that comes to mind is Butler County. He's a all WPL, all state. He actually just also got named not only all region but all American player. He's in the midfield, just the general, the player who can really do it all. I mean, he's involved in just about every aspect of the game, from gunning back and winning the ball defensively to getting the attack started. And he was the team leader in assists. Again, he really fed a lot of goals that we had. The goals for Cole, he was those first 2 goals. He was instrumental in both of those. And then we've also got an all-state player in Connor Oros. Another midfielder who's just outstanding. Connor really took on a good defensive role this year in the midfield. He was the one who buckled it down and tried to win everything in there and control the midfield. We had another super dynamic player was Max Marcotte, all WPL player who, again, those 3 guys, they played a lot together coming up, and they ran the show. So we also had up top Will Bruno. One of our top scorers, who, again, he was a super exciting player to watch, really quick, could beat guys out on the wing.
He had a few games where he had a hat trick.
Yeah, he had some hat tricks. He had some breakout games too. Again, also Gavin Loya on the other side, who was, again, another super dynamic forward who could, on the other side, beat players on the other side and get us goals as well. I mentioned Cole and our backs. Again, we've got Jeremiah Laslavic, big, tall center back who just was tremendous presence in the back, won a lot of tackles. You come out of nowhere and just win tackles and keep attacks from happening. He had a super long throw in, so he got some assists from that. He scored an amazing goal from like 35 yards out, just a rocket in one game during the season. It was an exciting one. Also Ben Hankinson, not the other center back. He absolutely, again, he was a guy who I would his mission in life was to keep the other team from getting into our 18 or into our area where they could score. And he did a great job also, especially in that last game, in shutting down that amazing player that Lower Marion had. He really did a great job, and he did that all the way through. Ben Randall, our left back, again, just a huge student of the game. He was a guy who would watch games and study and learn, and he would bring things up to us coaches and say, hey, what about this? What about that? And we would absolutely say, yeah, absolutely. Let's give that a go. A great player from the left back. He had a great left-footed cross. Danny Leach was one of our only other junior who started on the right back. He was another dynamo in the back who he was a lot of energy, a lot of grit, and he was able to keep keep the other team from being able to come at us as well. And obviously in the goal, Ryan Krummenacher, you saw in that last game, our goalkeeper, he ended the season on his best game, and just not only that penalty kick save at the very beginning, there was a save he made at the very end where one of their top midfielders turned and shot, and it's one of those goes off the foot, and you think, oh man, that's going in just under the crossbar, and Krummenacher's hand comes out of nowhere, just pops it over the net, and just kept it out of there. And then even our subs, we had a lot of good subs coming in. Liam Kennellan, who was a defender, who came in the back, and just there was not a drop at all. He would just come in, and we would kind of be able to keep our backs fresh. We had up top, we had Tommy Drennan, Evan Howard, and Adam Conrad, guys who would spell the forwards, and they would be able to keep the attack running as well. Ben Kiefer and Tyler Prex coming in the midfield.
Well, Coach, I know you're getting ready for next year. The off season will be busy for you, and I'm sure you have high hopes for another championship season coming up.
Yes, obviously we want to try to do this again if we can. One of our great things, even last few years, you heard a couple different players just on the way home from the bus, mentioning, okay, now it's time to start getting ready for next year. And that wasn't even coming from us. That was coming from the players. They were that excited about it. So, we're looking to hope to go again. You see
the trophy, and you're filling up that trophy case with 2 of those and 3 WPL championships. Coach, thanks for joining us. Congratulations on a fantastic year, and I look forward for more to come from you.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
I'll be right back with Alan George. I am back, joined to my right by the Swami George Abraham, to my left the Tiger Albert Campman. Guys, let's go to high school football honors. Freeport running back Ben Lane. He's the Butler County scoring champ, 114 points. Second place, Mars running back Evan Wright with 110. WPIAL Fab 22 football area players named: senior wide receiver defensive back Luke Lawson of Seneca Valley, junior lineman Ryan Corey of Pine Richland, junior wide receiver defensive back Kieran Boyd of North Allegheny, junior running back linebacker Ty Ray Alu of North Allegheny, and senior quarterback defensive back Ryan Palmieri of Pine Richland. WPI
Juniors.
Yeah,
That's
NA's loaded
that's
for
kind
next
of
year.
that's very interesting. You don't see that on the Pittsburgh
Yeah.
22 normally.
Right.
You maybe sneak in two. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
3 or 4.
yeah.
And their quarterback Logan Kushner's back next year too.
Okay.
Hey, WPIL volleyball honors MVP and first team All Stars. 6'1" Mia Tooman, North Allegheny. She's the 4A Player of the Year. She's an early enrollee at Ohio State, January the 3rd. She's going to pass up her senior year of basketball. She leaves North Allegheny, listen to this guy, with 10 WPIAL and PIAA gold medals in volleyball, basketball, and track. She's rated Pennsylvania's #1 volleyball player, and she was a member of their WPL championship 4x400 relay team. I mean, it was crazy, isn't it?
As coach, all of us are coaches.
Yeah.
There's one of those players come along in a lifetime. You see him you see him in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And a 6th grade physics
We saw
teacher will say,
We
hey,
saw her.
We saw. We'll never forget that play. Her, once again, I know I've repeated. Her back's to the net. With her left hand, she puts it over the net,
Yeah.
right into a spot where no
Eddie
one's
said,
there.
well, I said, Ed, that some people have it. You know, she's
it's
got
just-
it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You know what I wish we could speak with her. Leaving at Christmas, and girls play volleyball in the fall in college.
Yeah, she'll be going right in. I
So
don't
in other
know.
words, they're practicing all year round.
Sounds that way.
Well, aren't the NCAA playoffs going on right now?
That's
for,
what I'm
for
saying.
women's volleyball,
Yeah.
right?
What I was saying was, there's the 6th grade, and when I had one, Danny Lloyd was fantastic. In 6th grade, somebody came up and said, listen, you have a kid coming.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee when they saw her
No.
at recess running around saying,
Yeah. She ran faster than everybody was
Yeah.
calling everybody.
Isn't that something?
That's genetics.
yeah.
doesn't
Oh,
hurt
it's
either
genetics,
there.
yes.
Hey, WPL All-Stars continuing. Cassidy Dell, 5'9" of Freeport. She's a Class 2A WPL MVP, two-time WPL first team, and Pennsylvania Volleyball Coaches Association All-State team. Sydney Jones, 5'9", North Catholic. She's the 3A MVP. She's headed to Howard University. Ellison Fesco, 5'10", of North Catholic. We saw them, George.
They're
Three-time WPL All-Star and two-time Pennsylvania Volleyball Coaches Association All-State team. She's headed to Lafayette. And Sydney Jones and Fesco together, they were Butler County co-MVPs, Volleyball Players of the Year. And Kaylee Doctor, 5'11", of Pine Ridge, and four-time WPIL All-Star, two-time Pennsylvania Volleyball Coaches Association All-Star. She's headed to North Carolina A&T. How would you like to have this team?
Absolutely.
What I noticed is the size of the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6'2".
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
6'1",
But
5'11".
put that college volleyball on.
Huge.
Oh,
I love to watch it.
Oh, the size of those
Pitt's
women.
rolling. Pitt's
Yeah.
7th in the country.
Those women are big.
And Louisville's 4th in the country.
There you go.
A cross country, a Bronx Tale. Butler Jr. Drew Griffith won the Champs Northeast Regional Championship in the Bronx of New York. Next, coming up, the Champs National Championship, December the 10th in San Diego.
We'll be talking about him in the spring, huh?
Yeah, I will volunteer to be chaperone to go to San Diego. Hey, high school football playoffs, WPL and PIAA 6A and PIAA quarters. State College 28, North Allegheny 7. NA finishes 11-2. State College moves on 13-0. They take on Harrisburg 10-2. And out there sitting, just waiting in the East is
St. Joe
St.
my
Joseph Prep. 5A, Pine Ridge and
And that coach thinks he's pretty good, too.
Yeah.
And he might be.
We'll never know.
No.
That's what I'll say to him, too.
Yeah.
Go to a smaller school and go win that championship.
Come out and coach Monito for 1 year. And when Monito beats Aliquippa, I'll get up on this
And I'll
desk
say, "No, it was
and I'll
you."
say,
Right.
Coach, it was you.
I mean,
Yep.
Swift, we thought was the greatest player I ever saw. He's not even mentioned and say they got 5 or 6 other guys they mentioned.
Loved
I'm thinking, geez.
Oh.
And in 5A, Pine Richland quarterback Ryan Palmieri, he threw a fourth quarter touchdown pass to break a 14-14 tie with Erie Cathedral Prep and give the Rams a 21-14 win. He threw 2 touchdown passes in that game. NA's 10th straight win. Albert, we did their last loss.
Pine.
Pine,
Yes.
We did their last loss 13-3.
We were there.
Seneca Valley.
That's what good Seneca Valley was.
Yeah.
Well, don't take anything away from Pine's fantastic.
Minus 3
There's
yards
never been a
rushing
team.
that
There's never
game.
been a team left out.
Yeah.
And let me
better than
tell you,
Seneca Valley.
I've dealt with these guys. You don't know how happy that makes me beating Erie Prep. They are the cockiest, obnoxious.
Oh.
They come,
You know those players from New York?
but I mean, this, Pine Richland, way to go. Honestly.
Yes.
No, my way of thinking, this Ryan Palmieri, he has to be the 5A player of the year.
Well, I know.
Well, he's
I know
gone.
one thing. He's the comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
changed him to quarterback,
Yeah.
they
He
took
turned
off
it-
like
turned
something.
it
He's
straight
going to
wins.
be right in that,
Yeah.
probably depending on the next 2 games, because they really don't see these guys.
Right. Next up for Pine, 11-3, they take on Cocalico, 10-4 at Mansion Park. 4A WPL title championship game, Aliquippa 34, Central Valley 7. Next, PIAA, Aliquippa 12-0 versus Allentown Central Catholic,
See the
9-5.
Yeah,
Nine,
but-
but
heck of a
that's
schedule.
misleading. I
Don't
want
be
to know who they
Don't be
play.
fooled if they
Right.
play. They're right next to New York.
They may have
They're-
played St.
yeah,
They
Joe
had
Prep.
Yeah, don't.
I don't
yeah.
think they had to.
Hey,
Yeah.
I see them in basketball too many times.
Right. And in 3A championship
That's
game,
equipped, so.
Bell Vernon
Yes.
24, Avonworth 7. Next up for Bell Vernon 10-2, they take on Martinsburg Central 12-2. Out there waiting at 13-0 is Wyomissing
Hey,
They're there every year.
every year.
Martinsburg Central started 1-2.
So,
Yeah,
like Pine Richland.
something changed.
And in the 2A WPL championship game, Still Valley 34, Beaver Falls 14. Next up for Still Valley 12-0, they take on the Westinghouse Bulldogs 13-0. The Bulldogs beat up Farrell 34-6, sacking Farrell quarterback Cabron Smith 7 times and holding Farrell to a minus 30 yards rushing. That's amazing.
Westinghouse is really good.
Yeah, they're really,
Really
good. Did
good.
you see the game?
I had 3 friends that went to it. They told me they were really impressed.
Well,
I'm
I've
very
seen them the
impressed.
last few years against Butler and how good they are,
Hey,
speed and
It,
size,
just one
and
thing.
well coached.
Yeah, Farrell's best player. 2-game suspension for punches.
Now, he's
I
worked-
heard that.
Now, there's. It
Now,
won't be
don't
minus-
get me wrong,
It
it
wouldn't,
wouldn't
be
have made
minus
a
30
difference.
But they wouldn't have minus 30 rushing.
No, it wouldn't have had a
he
minus
he,
3.
He would have ran about 3 times over touchdowns. Now, Westinghouse would have won the game.
Right. But,
With him there,
it'd been
it's
a
like
little
Paul
tougher.
Mary off by Richland.
Right.
You take
Absolutely.
Paul
It
Mary.
matters,
You know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, out there waiting, Southern Columbia,
Oh, my gosh.
11-3.
You know, they played Guilfoyle. My cousins texted me. It's 14-7 after 3. I'm like, hey, okay. 42-14.
And then 1A championship game, a huge upset. Union 26, Bishop Canevin nothing. Next up for Union 10-3, they take on Port Allegheny 12-1. Don't look past Port Allegheny. Haven't heard anything about them, but we know last year. Remember Red Bank Valley? They came in there and bopped Bishop Canevin. Out there waiting. How many times we've heard this team? Stilton High Spot.
Yeah, but
12-1.
they're playing that team that played Union opening game, Canton.
Mm-hmm.
That's no automatic.
No automatic.
Still
no.
is that loaded though?
Yes.
They're that loaded. They killed Canada the first game of the year like they weren't even there. So I think still hits.
Our stories of the week: college football Division II playoffs. Shepherd 37.
But don't. I don't. That Union upset's the second biggest upset I think in
It's huge.
history of WPL.
Yeah,
You
no
understand?
one gave him a chance.
No, 0 chance.
No.
I was one of them. I'm a Union fan, and I didn't give him any chance.
No, I didn't either. And so we start here, Division II playoffs. Shepherd 37, Slippery Rock University 27. Shepherd put up 596 yards of offense. Running back Ron Brown, 205 yards rushing, 2 TDs. Quarterback Tyson Badgett, 372 yards and 2 touchdowns. For Slippery Rock, quarterback Noah Grover in his last game, 317 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. And receiver Cohen Russell caught 11 for 123 yards. Another great year for the Rock. They finished
Unbelievable
10-3.
year.
The Shepherd quarterback won the Heisman last year, D2, and he's on the Senior
He'll
Bowl.
win it
list.
again.
And he's up for the Harlan Hill
Yeah,
Trophy
absolutely.
player
When
of the
you
year.
play Shepherd, you go in like when you're playing Southern Cal. You know you have to score 40 to beat them. You know,
Yeah.
That you have. I didn't say 25. I didn't say 30.
Yeah.
Because Slippery Rock played a really well game. I can tell by the score they played great. But
And
it's
they
just-
have a rematch with IUP. IUP beat them in the championship game,
Yep.
24-21. Wouldn't surprise me at all if Shepherd wins
No,
this one.
no, when it's that close.
Pitt 42, Miami 16 before a sitting room only crowd of 5,000. Have you ever seen the Orange Bowl so empty as it was for that game?
They don't know what to do down there. They thought this Crystal Bowl, and I looked at their last couple recruiting classes, their rankings.
Yes.
Something's going on.
You know what their preseason ranking was this year? Number 14 in the
I know it was
country.
top 20. I know that.
5-7.
Yeah.
Pitt put up 504 yards of offense, and this kid's going to play on Sundays. Israel Banaconda, he had 111 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. It appeared to me, I've watched Miami Cup. They've been blown out several times this
Yeah,
year.
oh, yeah.
Florida State beat them 45 or 42-3. They seem disinterested. There's no passion there. There's no intensity. I don't understand what's going on down there.
When you lose,
Yeah.
the locker room becomes a cancer, and
Yeah.
when you win, it becomes like the fun place
They're
to be.
pointing. They're pointing.
Yeah. So that's what
Guaranteed they're
happened.
Now Pitt finishes with their 4th straight win,
Loser.
8-4. Narduzzi said they should be 11-1.
Oh, he doesn't stop. Coach better then, and they will be.
And according to Ron Cook, this is the 35th time in the last 40 years without a top 25 season ranking. That could change if they win their bowl game.
I've said it all along on the show. If you put the replays on it, when they win 8, that's a really, really good year at Pitt.
That's it.
That's what I expect. That's what I
And-
said.
It appears that way.
No, and a lot of schools want to win 8 games.
And when I was
But,
at
but
the,
they are an 11-win season.
when
They're
I was
not
at
Dorset.
the Duke game the week before when they
could've lost that game.
beat 28-26, there was only 18,000.
But they should have beaten Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
See, 23,
but there was only.
23.
What's a shame of it is it's a decent team.
But-
Only 18,000
but-
show up for
but-
a game against a Duke team that was pretty
Yeah,
good.
But all Miami, you said 5,000. Temple, that'd be a big crowd. They don't go when there's a college team in a pro town with hockey, with baseball. They are the fourth wheel.
Yeah, but still, I agree with you to a point. But then you go to a place, I know LA is much different
Oh, come
market.
on.
But I'm saying, Southern Cal gets 80,000, UCLA. But I'm saying, you mean to tell me for a Pitt Duke game they couldn't get 40 to
But I'm
50,000
saying,
for
don't
a game
compare
like
it to
that?
Los Angeles.
That's
Yeah.
LA's second biggest.
Yeah.
Well,
city in the
right.
country.
But I'm just saying they have 90 more teams out
But
there.
you know that's not ever changing.
No, it's not going to
No,
change.
no, anywhere where there's
No,
a pro
change.
team, they're the second citizen.
Penn State 35, Michigan State
Yeah.
16. Penn State 10-2. It's a 4th 10-win season for them under James Franklin, and they got a lot of players be coming back next year. West Virginia 25.
It doesn't make a difference, though.
No.
That's what I'm saying to you. I think Georgia's going to coach them, win 10 games.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Franklin at all. Until they beat Michigan, Ohio State.
Right. Oh, I agree.
You
We
understand?
said
who,
that.
on their
He-
schedule. Who should they not beat?
He's
there?
6-18. I agree with
I
you
mean,
100%.
that's what I'm saying.
He's 6-18 against those teams, and
But
he
see,
has
I'm
a
saying-
losing.
with Pennsylvania, when you thought of Penn State being equal with Michigan and Ohio State,
But Michigan doesn't have,
Pennsylvania had 500.
But they don't have
B1s.
either.
They got 65.
Michigan doesn't have me there
But
more.
they have
anymore.
more of the Midwestern.
They,
recruits on
Michigan
top.
doesn't have
but
me.
there's no excuse for them not being able to play and beat Michigan or Ohio State every now and then, like once
That's
out
what
of
they
every
do.
3
Yeah.
years.
No,
but
they
they
don't.
don't. No, they
6
don't.
and 18 is once every 3 years.
Oh,
That's what it is.
Sure, it's
No,
an embarrassment.
But I will say this.
It's
It's
an
not an
embarrassment.
This is why I don't.
I've talked to Penn State fans; they're so unhappy.
This-
about
Well,
it.
they're unhappy when they get up.
Here's
But-
what I'll just
but
say.
They don't
is
win a
not
big
a
game.
bad
But here's what I'll
year.
just read, George.
Bad game.
Penn State recruits nationally. They just don't recruit Penn State.
I
No,
know.
they get them all over.
No.
But
Ohio.
you're talking about two of the best teams in the country. You're not talking about
Okay.
comparing them to
That's what Penn
Auburn.
State
who
should
they
be.
So
beat.
who do they dominate
I
the
don't-
Big Ten?
I don't
they
believe
beat,
that.
They
That's
beat
what Penn
the,
State
they
should
beat
be.
the Indiana.
Michigan State.
They beat the Minnesota.
That-
No, they're even or
No,
one
they're better
game
than
under.
Michigan State.
I don't think they are.
Well, look
I
at the
don't
game.
think they are.
This year they were, but they haven't been.
Yeah, they have not been against Michigan State.
Well, you guys are hard. You're comparing them to the two best teams in the country.
But Michigan
Why
wasn't.
shouldn't they be? They talk about themselves as being
Two
a
best
premier
teams in the
program.
country.
But Michigan
But
wasn't.
they're not a premier
That's
program.
also Michigan was Penn State for all those years. Now finally, I want Franklin to do what Harbaugh.
No,
does.
Okay.
Well, it's
Wa-
not like you can't.
Then walk the talk. They talk about being a premier program.
They are.
They're not.
No,
they
they're
don't
not.
beat
Top
Michigan and
15
Ohio
is not
State.
premier.
No.
They
Well, you
don't
guys
beat the
are
good
not-
teams.
Oh,
Okay.
please.
West Virginia 25, Oklahoma State 19. West Virginia 5-7. Can it save Neil Brown,
I hope.
who's 22
He's
and
a good coach.
25 in his 4 years?
I hope.
AP top
What was
four.
the guy? What was the guy? South Florida, George. Remember his name? The grass is greener. I always talk about that South. When they got rid of him, and they went.
Oh,
one
yeah.
guy.
10 minutes.
Jim Levitt.
Love it. That's it.
Hey,
That's the same thing here.
Yeah.
As soon as you're going to get rid of Brown and try to bring somebody in, they'll say, well, we're 2-8 this year.
But
You
well,
know,
look at
that's what I'm saying.
Pelini's record at Nebraska, 67 and 28.
Exactly.
AP top four, Georgia 37-14 over Georgia Tech. Next up, SEC championship game against LSU 9-3. They were spanked by Texas A&M 38-23. Michigan 12-0, 42-23 over Ohio State. Next up, I'm not really keen on this game. Big Ten championship versus Purdue.
Oh, then the quarterback brother was killed. He's not.
Oh,
they don't know if he's going to be
jeez.
there. Purdue.
TCU 12-0,
That's the
62-14 over Iowa State. Next up, Big Ten title game versus Kansas State 9-3. Look out. USC 11-1, 38-27 Notre Dame. They'll face Utah in the Pac-12 championship. Their only loss of the year, 43-42 to Utah. And listen to this. This year, USC, 30 players in the transfer portal
yes.
on their roster.
Well,
They're
ain't
gonna
got
have 40
32
next
in
year.
it.
Yeah.
They'll have 40 new ones next year. That's a
Yeah.
runaway phrase. But I want to say one here: the best coaching job done in the country, Georgia Tech. When they change, I'm telling you, they were looking for a coach. They're trying to find somebody else.
Yeah, to finish the year at Pitt.
At Georgia, that game against Georgia,
Wow.
Georgia Tech played their tails off. They were winning 7-3 for a long time.
I'm going to give it to South Carolina's coach, Shane Beamer. Beat Tennessee and Clemson, two top-ranked
That was
teams.
last- he finished
back
wrong.
to back.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm going to say kudos to him, 8-4. Duke 8-4.
Yeah.
Tennessee 10-2. Illinois 8-4. Great to see these teams.
And, it was a
move
new
ahead.
coach at Duke. These people would say coaching doesn't matter. That's not accurate either.
Right.
He
He's
does a
done a
great
great
job.
job, Mike Kell. And the
Mike
coaching
Elko,
carousel, Matt Rule to Nebraska, Luke Fickle to Wisconsin.
That would surprise me.
You freeze to Auburn?
Oh,
in
that
a
was coming.
series?
That was definitely coming.
And
He's a
Colorado,
recruiting guru.
Colorado wants to talk to primetime.
Yeah.
And there's some people interested in Ed Ogeron. So,
How's
yeah.
he doing, George?
Go Tigers.
Hey, that's it for us. We run out of time. We'll see you next week.
No one plans for a plumbing emergency. If it happens, turn to the experts at Armstrong Comfort Solutions. Matt Mertz Plumbing is now part of the Armstrong Comfort family. Do you have a leaking pipe, a toilet backing up? When you need a plumber, you want an honest, licensed professional. We're available 24/7. Our plumbing experts can handle any need or emergency, including trenchless sewer replacement. Armstrong Comfort Solutions and Matt Mertz Plumbing, two great local companies coming together to better serve Western PA.
We're proud to announce that in 2022, Armstrong has been named Cablefax Independent Operator of the Year for the second time. We'd like to thank all of our employees for contributing to our success, and a big thank you to our customers for their continued support.
Armstrong has a long history of fighting food insecurity in our communities through breaking bread. We're excited to announce the results of our 5th annual